Good morning from Costa Rica, or good afternoon, depending on when you're dropping in. Be sure that if you're listening to this episode in the private Facebook group, Amplified Impact for Multi-Passionate Female Entrepreneurs, that you say hi in the comments below. For me, I created this business because I wanted more connection. Living in the jungles of Costa Rica, we don't have the same consistency of classes and collaborations and getting out into the external world. So I created it here online with you. So be sure to say hi. I know so many of you have been following me for a really long time, whereas others are new here. So it doesn't matter, just say hi, let me know what you're dropping in, where you're dropping in from, and really your overall just intention of being here. We can sign up, join a group, get on an email list, start following someone, and then we forget why. And something that I teach inside of one of my signature programs, Amplified Impact, is make sure that what you're doing is conscious. So several times throughout the year, go and unfollow people, clean up your Facebook friend list, clean up your Instagram followers, make sure that what you're listening to, podcasts that you've subscribed to, things that you've saved on Instagram, like clean it up and create space. And the reason I even want to bring this to the conversation is exactly what we're going to talk about in today's episode. If you are listening to this as a podcast and you get value from this each week, it would mean the world to me for you to go over to Apple iTunes, rate and review this podcast. It is what allows us to make bigger waves and reach more people. One of my vision board dreams is to bring this podcast to the top 10 so that we can have massive, massive impact. While I was having birth or getting ready to go through birth, I worked with one of my friends and we started to curate who I was and what I did based upon my human design. If you don't know human design, I invite you to go and find out what your human design is, because sometimes what happens is we're doing something that is out of alignment with what our design is, and it has us swimming upstream. And the moment that we find out what our human design is, we just get so much validation for how we've been feeling. And that's what happened for me. And one of my gifts that we really uncovered together last year was I'm here to empower others to make their own decisions and do it their own way. And I believe that right now, more than ever before, we have an opportunity to take our gifts, our passions, our skills, and life experience and teach others how to get to where we are today. So, what am I going to bring to the conversation? I was actually not hosting, I was presenting a workshop at a retreat here in Costa Rica, where I was having a conversation with one of the women who are starting to outgrow cutting hair. So her intention is to start training others to cut hair. And there's this like sadness inside of her, because even while she was here in Costa Rica on this retreat, there were people that were like, I am not going to let anyone cut my hair while you're away. And she's like, but I'm recommending them. I trust them. Like, all you're doing is getting this done. They know how to do that. It's going to be the same thing. And they're like, nope, I'll wait for you. And so there's this pressure that she has on herself from others to continue cutting hair, even though her passion for it is slowly fading. And not just that it's her passion's fading, it's that her body's getting tired. And when she brought this to me and we were just in an organic conversation, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, this happened to me. I moved to Costa Rica almost 8 years ago. October 2023 will be 8 years, which is crazy. And I had no idea I was going to start doing massage, but I created a massage business. I was doing Thai massage, deep tissue massage, relaxative massage. Like I have a touch with my hand. And I went from hustling in Colorado to move myself here, not knowing that I was going to birth this business of being a yoga teacher and a massage therapist that went to homes that people were on vacation, and I was a mobile healing business. That's what I called myself. I was like the mobile healing business. And I would just go to other retreat centers, people's vacation homes, and I would serve. But I started to get tired. And so she asked me, how did you transition when you have all of these clients? And I was like, yeah, it was really hard. And when I was going through a breakup, I decided, okay, I'm going to do what I always said I wanted to do, and I'm going to travel the world. So I quit work and I took 4 months to travel to over 7 countries. And I went on my own eat, pray, love journey. And in this moment, the download, the channel, the message was, Amber, it's time for you to quit massage. My body was tired. I was giving 8 massages a day. And I loved it because I always got my clients feeling so freaking good. And I would be like, look, I can do the work for you and give you a massage, which of course that feels good. And we can do that. But if you do yoga, you can feel this good all on your own. So I wanted to give them their power back. And what I was telling her is like, when I got the message, it's time to go all into your yoga career, I had to say, okay, January 2019, I'm only just before January 2019. So, okay, I'm only going to give massages to my friends and my family, my close people. And then I realized I was still too busy to go all in on yoga. And so I said, okay, January 2019, I am going to stop doing massage. And that was so challenging because I got tested. The universe tests you. And someone was like, well, what if I do this? Or would you do this? Please, will you do this for me? And what about this? And so there was a little bit of bribing and there was a little bit of test. And it was like, also money, right? Like you're cutting off almost $500 a day I was making giving massages. You're cutting that off and you're trusting that the money's going to come in through another business. But not only that, like you're letting people down. I was letting people down. These were my people. And so I had to find them new people. What I did was I found 2 people that I would get massages from, and I referred these 2 people to my clients. And of course, there's some people that are like, there's no one that's like you, Amber. I waited my whole life for you. And as I was in this conversation with one of my clients at the retreat, she's like, yeah, I feel that. So what did you do? And I was like, I set a date. And I had to let the universe test me to stay true to what I was being called to do. And this happens to us, not even when it's in our careers. This happens to us even in relationships. You've changed. You weren't this way before. What are these boundaries? What are these standards? Which is why I talked about going to clear your Instagram following, going to clear your friends lists, going to clear your closet, going to clean out your home. We are growing and we are evolving. And as we grow and we evolve, the people we hang out with shift, the people that we fall in love with, the types of people that we date, these things change. And it is hard when we're in service and we're giving. And what happened for me is that it's just continued to happen. I was doing yoga teacher trainings and I outgrew that. And it was so hard because I met so many clients, so many students that I loved, and I still have a really close relationship with today that I changed their yoga career. I changed the way they thought about yoga. And then I birthed myself into a self-love yoga coach. And I had hundreds of women working with me, whether it was free in my YouTube content or my insight timer, whether the 125 plus women that went through the Live Your Yoga mentorship, changing their lives, showing them how to create a daily yoga practice. And then last year, after birthing my son, I got the download that it was time to start helping other people who desired to go online, to make more money teaching yoga, to turn their gifts, passions, and skills into an online business. This message came through and was like, well, am I leaving clients behind? And my Facebook group, you may be here and you may have been here from the beginning. My podcast, you may have been here from the beginning. It's evolved. Yoga off the mat, yoga with Amber, to amplified impact. But it all makes sense. It's all healing. It's just one thing adding on to another. And so as we grow and as we evolve, so will what we're passionate about. So will what we teach, so will what we study, so will our life experience. So it's inevitable that you're going to continuously be growing, and what you're doing in your life is going to shift, change, and evolve as well. And oftentimes we can put ourselves into this box. I went to school, so I have to stay in this career. I've already been this invested into a relationship, so I have to stay. She's been my best friend forever. What will they think? As we grow and evolve, we have to trust the evolution of what we're growing and evolving into. And that can be scary because of what we feel like we're leaving behind. But there's so many of my clients that even though I've transformed into something more, they're growing with me. They're on this journey with me. And so will your clients. So will your friends. So will your partner. One of my clients who was in the Live Your Yoga mentorship, who just signed up to come on to the Soul Awakening retreat in December. She booked a one-on-one call with me, just like, hey, Amber, I'm getting ready to go on the retreat. I want to get connected to my practice again. I want to build my confidence. Like, can we work together again? And when she came into my world, she's like, I didn't identify as a business owner or an entrepreneur. But then last week, something came into my world that it was like, oh, I can help other people do this. And maybe I'll start a nonprofit organization. And I didn't realize that I could be one of them. And she's like, so maybe I will be able to identify. And it's like, well, my evolution and journey of who I've been from the very beginning is going to bring different types of people into my world. And you belonging here is just a choice and a decision. And oftentimes, what happens when we get in the room with people who are a few steps ahead of us is it opens us up to an idea that we didn't even know was possible for us. And we're like, oh, we're growing into this newer version of ourselves. And we didn't even know it was possible until we started to do the work. And as you do the work, and what it is that you're really passionate about is going to change because of what you're overcoming. Self-doubt, imposter syndrome. What will I have to give? Who am I to even? And something that I teach is like, you're not trying to get rid of self-doubt. You're just trying to create evidence that when you have self-doubt and you go for what you desire, anything is possible. You're not trying to get rid of these natural human parts and pieces of you. You're trying to hold space for both of them. And that's what life is. And so as you're growing, evolving, trusting that who's meant to grow and evolve with you will come along the journey with you, and that they're going to see things that they never saw before. And in a conversation that I was having with one of my one-on-one clients last week, she's like, my business is growing and evolving. What I'm offering is changing. Some of my clients have been with me from the very beginning. What will they think if I raise my prices? What will they think if I bring my new offers? What will they think if I say like, hey, I don't know that you need me anymore? And like, that holds a duality, right? We want to keep growing with our clients, but also like the best work is when they're like, hey, actually, Amber, right now I don't need you. I'm going to take a break. And then in 3 months, they come back and they're like, I don't need you, but I want to be in your world again. I have these ideas and I know that you can help me put them down into a solid, grounded foundation. Let's keep growing together. So the duality is like, oh my gosh, I don't want to leave my clients. I miss this conversation that we get to have several times a month. And like, my work here is done. I did it. I'm proud of you. Go and fly, spread your wings, and know that I'm always here to hold space for you. And as we grow and evolve, like my prices has shifted and changed. I've raised them, I've lowered them. What I offer changes. I retire programs and I bring them back in a new way. I want to give you the permission that wherever you're at on your journey is like, take the empowered decision that what is calling you to change, shift, evolve, what you're outgrowing, what you're growing into. As Rumi says, what you seek is seeking you. Follow the whispers of your heart. And in those moments, like I was just writing an email last night talking about at the beginning of January 2021, when I was getting bored and losing the passion for my business from teaching the same program on repeat, doing it in the same way. It was so scary to realize that I was growing and evolving and feeling like I was going to leave my clients behind once again. I had already been through this before with massage. Like, what is everyone else going to think? What if it doesn't work out? All of those feelings I had when I first started the entrepreneur journey, when I first started my business, were coming back. And I held it. I listened. And when I brought out one of my most sought after programs, the Stand Out and Thriving Leader and Teacher, I had more DMs and more signups into a program organically launching than ever before. It was just direct confirmation that my community was waiting for this. And oftentimes, the thing that you don't want to do, the thing that you don't want to say, the thing that you're questioning whether you should create is actually the one thing that's going to skyrocket your confidence, your business, your relationships, and your sales. You're just one decision away from the growth that you desire, and it's not comfortable and it's scary. And I know because I've done it so many freaking times. And does it get easier? Yes. Why? Because of the evidence that you have. I've been building up evidence that every time I'm scared and I go for it, it gets out, it becomes way better than I ever thought, way better than I could have ever imagined. And what we have to do is just keep listening and trusting that what's on the other side of that decision is waiting for us. And so making these empowered decisions, listening to the heart, whether you're breaking societal expectations, you're letting your family down, fear of disappointing your clients, fear of it all falling to the ground. This is where we grow. And oftentimes when we think that we need to burn it to the ground and start over, we're actually just molding it like Play-Doh. And we're recreating what we already have just into a different shape and a different design. And our job as a human and as an entrepreneur and as a spirit is to hold the old, to co-create the new, and trust that what's on the other side of that uncomfortable place is something way beyond we can even like picture in our minds right now. Empowered decisions from the heart with the mindset that they're waiting, that the soulmate client, you, past versions of you, is out there literally just waiting to read your post, to see the program, to sign up, to work with you. Before we go, I just want to share with you one really special DM that I got yesterday. And she said, Amber, I've been getting signs I want to work with you for some time now. I told my mom about your program, Amplified Impact, 2 months ago. And then I was talking to her about it again and all the synchronicities of the things that you share in my life journey. And my mom said to me, what are you waiting for? And so she sent me this message. I was like, your mom, she's so sweet. She's so supportive. But the truth is like, what are you waiting for? The only thing that's stopping you from what it is you desire is taking messy action to create more clarity. And from that clarity builds confidence. And from that confidence is attraction. Attraction of your soulmate clients, attraction of your soulmate, attraction of your wealth, attraction of your friendships, attraction of your health, happiness, all of it. And it comes from not waiting and just deciding that now is the time. And there's never a more right time than the moment that you decide from an empowered place, I'm going to take this decision. I've been getting signs that I need to do this. I've been getting signs that now is the time. And today I'm taking that decision and I'm going for it. I'm listening to it. It wasn't 1 year ago. It wasn't 2 months ago. I'm making that empowered decision right now. And I'm trusting that who's meant to come along this journey with me will be there along the way. And sometimes relationships, practices, things put a pause. And then they come back later when the vibrations of calibration come back into sync and there's an energetic alignment once again. I wanted to share this episode with you of just bringing you through the journey of my thought process, conversations that I have with my clients, and giving you the permission to listen to what's calling you forward and through without trying to please other people, without trying to stay the same, without trying to get rid of the fear, but doing it anyways. Trust in your next step from the heart that's guiding you and pulling you forward. I hope this was helpful. Your biggest takeaways, screenshot this, tag me, tag a friend, share this message if it lands and it resonates with you. If you desire to learn how we can continue to grow together, never hesitate to reach out on Instagram. If you want to sign up or apply into one-on-one coaching, the Create Waves Make Change mentorship, or you desire to apply for Amplified Impact, you can go to the show notes in the podcast. I'll link it below, and I will chat with you in the next episode. Bye-bye.